Sharma here. I'm the VPA at National VPA at GAIMS. And as your host tonight, I welcome all of you to tonight's panel discussion, which is on research in the USA as an IMG. That is something I guess all of us are aspiring towards. And I think all of us have an endless number of questions to do with this particular subject. So that's the sole purpose of us gathering here today, to try and clear all of those questions. So this panel discussion is actually being conducted as part of the NRMCW, that is the National Research Methodology Course and Workshop, which is an initiative of GAIMS, a one-of-its-kind initiative at that aims to help medical students kickstart their journeys in research by equipping them with the help of a very meticulously designed course to gain skills in research methodologies, as well as gaining mentorship in their journeys in research. Okay, so this panel discussion forms part of that course. Joining me today is also Dr. Yusra Iftikhar. She's just finished her final examinations, and she's the National Committee Director for RASOG Committee at GAIMS. So she'll be my co-host for you guys tonight at this discussion. And without further ado, I think I'll jump straight into introducing our esteemed panelists for tonight to all of you guys. So first, I'd like to take the pleasure of introducing the chair of the Board of Trustees at the American Association of Physicians of Indian Origin, that is AAPI, which we're all familiar with, Dr. Sunil C. Kaza. He's our first panelist tonight. He's a renowned, sir, hi to you too, sir. He's a renowned cardiologist who resides in Nashville. He currently serves at the Veterans Medical Center in Tennessee Valley. As a fellow of the American College of Cardiology, Dr. Kaza has built himself a distinguished career in medicine with a strong focus not only on patient care, but also on medical education and community service. He's board certified in internal medicine, cardiovascular disease, nuclear medicine, and echocardiography, and he's also board eligible in psychiatry and neurology. Dr. Kaza has received numerous awards and honors for his contributions to the medical field, as well as to the community, and he continues to be a prominent voice in healthcare, advocating for the interests of physicians and patients alike. We're blessed to have you amongst us tonight, sir, so welcome to you. So our second panelist tonight is Dr. Rahul Kashyap, the Medical Director for Research at WellSpan Health in York, Pennsylvania City. He's a faculty member at Drexel University College of Medicine, as well as Assistant Professor of Anesthesiology and Critical Care and Research Scientist at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Dr. Kashyap has graduated with an MD equivalent degree from Madurai Medical College in Tamil Nadu and an MBA from Augsburg University at Minneapolis, Minnesota. He then completed his Global Clinical Scholars Research Training, the GCSRT training from Harvard Medical School in Boston, and a fellowship in critical care medicine from the American College of Critical Care Medicine. Dr. Kashyap brings to the table 18 plus years of experience in clinical research, data analytics, and quality improvement. He has more than 280 PubMed cited publications to his name, has authored more than 15 book chapters, edited 2 books, and successfully led several national as well as international research projects. Most notably, the one titled Virus COVID-19 Registry, which was a collaboration with the Mayo Clinic and Society of Critical Care Medicine. It's an honor to have you amongst us tonight, sir. We're looking forward to hearing all of your insights. Yeah. So coming to our third panelist, we have amongst us tonight Dr. Madhavi Gorusu. I'd now like to introduce her to you. Hi, ma'am. She is a distinguished hemato-oncologist with over 25 years of service dedicated to advancing healthcare quality as well as enhancing patient care. Dr. Gorusu earned her medical degree from Andhra Medical College in India and completed her residency in internal medicine from the Cleveland Clinic Health System and the University of Connecticut. She then pursued a fellowship in hematology and oncology at the University of Connecticut Health Center, including an elective in bone marrow transplantation at Yale University. Her CV also boasts of an MBA degree from the University of Connecticut School of Business, and ma'am has been recognized with the Hartford Business Journal's Women in Business Award. It's no surprise, therefore, that Dr. Barusu has held several pivotal positions in her career. She served as a physician at the Veteran Health Administration and worked as a hemato-oncologist at multiple medical centers. She was appointed as Director of Medical Oncology at Charlotte Hungerford Hospital's Medical Oncology and Infusion Center, which is part of the Hartford Healthcare Center Institute, during which time her work was instrumental in expanding oncology services in Litchfield County, Connecticut, and vital also in integrating precision oncology treatments and immunotherapies into patient care. Dr. Gurusu serves as the board of directors for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Hartford chapter, and she's actively involved in utilizing data analytics, healthcare information technology, and biotechnology as tools to enhance healthcare delivery patient outcomes, as well as patient outcomes. You're an inspiration to us, ma'am. So once again, we're delighted to have you amongst us. Then we have Dr. Sushrit Ingawale. Dr. Sushrit Ingawale is currently attached to the Department of Internal Medicine at the Quinnipiac University Frank H. Netter School of Medicine and St. Vincent Medical Center. He's the former assistant professor of internal medicine at the very reputed Seth GSMC and King Edward Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, which is the same institution that Sir has completed his medical education from, including both an MD as well as a DNP. Dr. Ingwale is very actively involved in research, has published several papers and received numerous academic awards. He currently also serves as the editor-in-chief of the Global Journal of Medical Students. So welcome to you too as well, sir. So that's it with the introduction to all of our panelists. Now that we're familiar with them, let's dive into the panel discussion itself. Before we begin, however, I'll just would like to put across a few very simple rules for all of our panelists to follow, just to ensure a smooth progression of today's session. The first thing is, let us try and not to delve too long on any one particular topic or stray from a topic. If someone else is speaking, please let's not interrupt them. If at any, we will be giving equal chances to all of the panelists to give their inputs, because that's valuable to us for each topic. However, at any point in time, if you'd like to add in something, please do raise your hand and we'll give you the opportunity to give your input. And I guess that's about it. At any point in time, if you guys find that you want to share any resource with us, such as a link or anything at all, either you can drop the link or said material onto the chat, or you can later share it with me or any of the other board members from GAIMS, and we'll share it across with the rest of the audience. Okay. Okay. So, it appears that we also have amongst us Dr. Lokesh R. Edra tonight. So, Sir had yet to confirm whether he was going to be joining us, but he has. Thank you so much, Sir, for taking time to join us. And to introduce Dr. Edra, he's an allergist and immunologist in Michigan, USA. He's also a House of Delegate, American College of Allergy, Asthma and Allergy. And he's an associate professor of medicine from the WMU School of Medicine, Michigan, USA. And with us, he's been working as the advisor at GAIMS. He's also the chairman of AAPI. Okay. So that's about it. Oh yeah, and I'd also like to inform you that Dr. Satish Katula and Dr. Sashi Kupala, both of them were also supposed to join us tonight. However, they seem to be preoccupied with another regional meeting to do with AAPI itself in the USA, so they were not able to join us. They conveyed their apologies and wish the panelists the very best for tonight's session. Okay, let's dive right in. So beginning with the very first question for tonight. Yes, I'm sorry to, Dr. Edra is pointing out that he's the founder of, on the chat, that is. So noted, sir, noted. Okay, so the very first question, where should someone with very little or no background in research begin? I think I'd like to direct this question at Dr. Rahul Kashyap. Can you also walk us through a very basic roadmap for beginners, sir, including any tools, courses, or skills that we as a beginner should focus on to begin our journey in research?
Thank you, Dr. Fatima. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir, we can hear you all right.
Perfect. Very good question. Where to start in research? I'll just say, let's say if I'll take 40 seconds to answer this question, we
Mhm.
all are beginner at some stage for something new. We try it all the time as well. So having a start is always a good idea. I would say uh, if you are a medical student, it's not too late to start in your first year. It's not too late to start in your second year, third year, or fourth year for that matter. I have worked with students who are college students or even high school students. They start research nowadays as well. So it's never too late to start. One is that there are enough tools nowadays. You guys are a young generation. You can go on YouTube. You can find free courses on Coursera and all those things. You can always acquire this knowledge for free for that matter. However, to implement that knowledge, you have to do the project. The idea is that you can't attend like 10 different courses, have list them in your CV, and if you don't even know how to ask a question, research question, what is PICO? Or, are you using final criteria? Are you doing what you're supposed to do it as well? So instead of running after certificates or degrees, I would say run after skills. Those skills are at home. Work, find out somebody in your medical school who is doing research. A lot of your faculty members in medicine, surgery, OBGYN, psychiatry, and other areas are doing it. People in physiology and other places are doing research as well. Find a mentor or somebody who has done it before. Go prepare to them as well, saying, I have idea about it. Can you help me polish it? And then go from there, I would say. I'd say that, if you've not done research when you're in fourth year graduating it, do before that. If not before that, you can do in third year, second year, first year, whatever for that matter. You cannot jeopardize your scores or exams for research. That's make sure that you are doing that first. And in between your exams, if you are finish your second year and you still have your a whole year to do it as well, first 6 months are pretty good. Then you can do research because you've done the basics and all. I can elaborate on. I give a lecture for 1 full hour where to start and how to start. I hope that it kind of gives a little bit of a glimpse.
Okay, yeah, so that was definitely helpful. Anybody else from the panel? Anybody would like to add anything? Dr. Gurusu, Dr. Edra?
Sure.
Yes, Dr. Gaza, please.
Sure,
Okay.
please, Dr. Gaza, go ahead. Yeah.
The one question
Dr. Edra, you're on mute.
Mainly involved in the policy.
Yes.
So my vision is for at least every medical school in India should have their own index journal eventually. So I met a PG board of NMC chair and requested them make a mandatory every MBBS student should publish one either case report or a letter or at least he really thought about it. He said he will put in the system because he don't know when his term ends. So that way we made a mandatory. So that way the young 18-year-old kids will know they have to publish something. Then they will learn. It's just throwing into the pool. They will learn their swimming. So that's what we thought how that can affect. So I just want to bring it to you. Thank you.
Thank you for telling us. So that would help us immensely, I think, in India if that were incorporated into the system. Dr. Gurusu, please go ahead.
Sure. So, and if I may understand, what's the demographics of the medical students who are on the panel?
I believe they're from all walks through medical school, ma'am. I think we have first year, second years. I think some people who finished internship.
All of them from India?
Yeah. Most of us are all from India, ma'am.
From India.
Yeah.
So, what might be practical is, in addition to what Dr. Kashyap and Dr. Idra has eloquently stated, the practical part of it, the keywords are networking. How you're going to reach out to your mentors within the institute, and you can always reach out to mentors outside of the institute as well. So need not be any total confines of things. So networking, that's a key. And the second thing is that, for example, as an oncologist, if I might give you an example, something like a quality improvement project, it need not be the very scientific, very cutting edge research only. Of course, if there's an option, feasibility, please, of course. But how you can build your resume to be one of those candidates will be acceptable to compete among the other pool for the research and dollars within what you have, a quality improvement project. I'm sure you have access to something like NCCN guidelines or something that whichever, I'm just making it up. Whatever the guidelines for oncology, let us say. Here in America, we follow the NCCN guidelines, right? So if you have your mentor or whoever, I'm just again giving you example in the oncology field, how you kind of let it percolate through your other specialties or anything, that's up to you.
Right.
So you can look into who are all these diagnosed patients in 1 year. For example, let us say, okay, these are the lung cancer patients. So have we been following the NCCN guidelines? So if we have, that's, making those. If we haven't, where is that area of improvement? And in that way, you're helping your own institute help better care for your patients. And in that way, and you are preparing yourself to how well, when you are out in the real field, how you're going to improve the quality care that you provide. And that itself can go into a poster presentation. It can go into a local journal. So the same thing, I'm saying not use the same thing, but once you present at one of the poster, then you can add further and send it to a journal. So this is how you build your kind of your portfolio. So that is one example. So I thought I'll share. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That's a very helpful tip, actually, to use one project and try it out in different platforms to boost your CV. So that same topic of discussion brings me to my next question. What platforms or strategies can an IMG use to find these mentors? And I think I'll direct this question at Dr. Kaza, if you're okay with addressing this question, sir.
Sure.
And we'd also like a few tips on how to, converse and communicate with professors via email or any other platform. Are there any do's and don'ts to such a thing?
That's a very good question. And one of the ways the students and the junior doctors can connect is through their alumni. So have the affiliation with the alumni and involve the alumni doctors, senior doctors who are all over the world, and form a group. These days, it's so easy to form like WhatsApp groups or other groups. Form a group, reach out to them and say, usually most people have that love for their college and alma mater. So whether I know that person or not, if they just call me that I'm from so-and-so Osmania Medical College, I'm from 2018 batch, that automatically there is that affiliation, I like wanting to help. So even if you are in US, for example, Kakatiya Medical College in South in Telangana has formed an organization called KRITI, K-R-I-T-I. So essentially, their alumni is finding the people in research like Dr. Gorusu and Dr. Kashyap and people like that, or the other doctors who are in clinical research, and making them part of that research program so that they can work in parallel with their students and doctors. That's one way of starting. And to start, for most of the students and junior doctors, research means they think it's like a super area that I cannot do. So it's not like that. Actually, until we start writing, we won't know. So to start writing, we need to have a question. Start with a question. Whatever the question is, you're studying or you're preparing for exams or you're seeing a patient, you have a question and then try to Google it or PubMed and read about it and research. And if there is no answer, that is the point of interest. And then you can take it to your mentor and of course, find the mentor through alumni or your own college. One of the problems we have noticed in Osmania was that teachers, many of them were not into the research. That's why this pool of international researchers is very important. I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your input. How about Dr. Sushrit? Do you have anything to say, sir, to add to this about what platforms we could use and how to, approach and communicate with professors when you're looking for a mentor?
Yes. Thank you, Fatima,
yes,
for inviting me to this panel, and thank you all the panelists and the audience as well. So I'll just give a little bit of my own personal experience about pursuing the research right from a medical journey. I started my research as a second year. I know what are the struggles that one faces as a medical student, like coming up with a very good topic, and what are the resources that can be used for. So let's talk about resources. What I have seen over time is there is an app called as Swayam, SWAYAM, which is developed by the Indian government, and it has a lot of educational sources which are completely free available. So that includes some research courses as well. That is one. Second, I would definitely recommend to have not a lot of certifications, but at least one research methodology course to be done so that you are at least familiar with what processes are involved when doing research. As Dr. Gorusu suggested, that networking is extremely important. One of the key things I find important in networking is one is institutional networking, which is more of based on figuring out by talking through seniors which faculty are the ones who are actively involved in research. So I think first year is a very crucial year when you have a little bit of inclination whether you like anatomy more or you are more inclined towards physiology. That is one of the, I think, deciding factors where kind of influences whether you are inclining towards a surgical field or a medical field. So based on whether you have more inclination towards anatomy or physiology, I suggest that as you go into second year, maybe you should plan like pursuing a medical project under Department of Pharmacology or Medicine if you're into a clinical field, or under like any surgical specialties like ENT, ophthalm, or even general surgery for that matter, if you're more into anatomy. Uh, Regarding outside the institution networking, one of the things that help is having a regular readership on the journals. So when you are trying to read journals, you get to know who are the authors which are like more involved in research and what kind of research is ongoing. That is not only going to help you gain what is the gray areas or what are the hot topics in the field, but also help you find a novel topic, and it will also give you a list of authors whom you can probably reach out to. You can simply drop a mail. There is always a corresponding email that is available for the corresponding author, that particular author. And lastly, it is all about having the perseverance to stick with the project and carry it forward despite having clinical rotations and academic things. Because let me tell you, as a student, it's not difficult. I have guided a lot of students in my college, and I see this fact quite common that someone comes to me with a great enthusiasm that they do want to do research, but I see that enthusiasm dwindles away over a couple of next weeks. So are you really just wanting it for the sake of getting a publication to your name, or is it something that you are want to learn the process of it? That is something that comes out. A research project might be a little bit boring because you are just getting used to the process of it. But once you get a little bit of like command over these processes, the more and more you do, you will start liking it. It's just like riding a bicycle. First of all, you are not going to like it, but as you enjoy doing it, you are just going to enjoy it.
Right. Those were tremendously helpful tips. And I believe Dr. Lokesh has also shared the link to Swayam on the chat. So everybody, please make a note of that. Okay, Dr. Kashyap, do you have anything to say about platforms to look for mentors in, or how to communicate with potential mentors? Or Dr.
No,
Gorusu?
I agree with the esteemed panelist said before. One thing I would just like to point out is that the difference between American system and Indian system is that the medical students in America, most likely by the end of their second year or first year, they would know what specialty they want to go in, and they can apply to those specialties specifically. In India, if you are there, you are depending on what your rank comes in, and you pick and choose the specialty you want to pick and choose. Regardless where you are, I would suggest that by the end of your second year, because you've done your anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, you've done your pathology, microbiology, and you have done at least a year of rotation in hospital, you should be getting it, as Dr. Shushruth has mentioned, either medical, surgical, OBGYN, psychiatry, whatever field you want to go in as well. And those areas are important for you to start owning, seeking, networking, finding mentors, see if I can do some research in those areas, starting with a case report, getting, I think I 100% agree that you have to acquire skills, but having some formal training within your institution, outside, or program like yours where you guys do these research methodology courses are going to be important.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Caruso, a question for you. So should students who are aiming for a particular specialty, should they target to acquire, research experience in that specialty itself, or is general research in any field going to be equally helpful in strengthening their applications in the US?
So I believe both, I would say. Okay. Your work will show the kind of effort that went into and how that was helpful to the institute, to the later the patients, patient care and all that. So if I am sitting in the judging position, probably, see, you have the entire 3 years in the, let us say, for example, oncology field. I know that if the candidate has the potential, they have 3 years that we can give the tutelage. So it depends. So I don't think anybody will zero in on did you do the oncology research or the molecular things and all. Okay. But I think the quality of your research and the type of the work that goes into speaks volumes. Well, if you get the opportunity to do in your own field that you're aspiring for, that's great. But that alone, nobody looks at it that way because your work will show what kind of work that you have put in.
Yeah, I think that was a brilliant answer. Like, that makes a lot of sense, and we relate to that. However, are there specialties that have research as a bigger requirement compared to other specialties? Is there such a thing?
If I may answer that. Yes, ma'am. I think without research, there is no advancement. So, of course, every field needs that. And if you if there is an institute which is not giving emphasis on research, I would honestly frown upon that. I might turn away from that institute, because then what are we focusing on the progress, right? So I would absolutely be focused and show more towards an institute that is enhancing and nurturing the research.
All right, okay. Dr. Kaza, would you like to add to that? Do you have anything to say about that? Do certain specialties require research more than others?
No, not really, because you are a medical student, so any field of interest is fine. And some of the things in interviews, what people see is that your methodology and how you're doing the things and how you're approaching. And another thing for junior doctors to remember is that if your name is in some paper and it goes in your CV, and be prepared to know thoroughly about that subject. Otherwise, your paper may be on pharmacology, on a drug, or how side effects or certain things. But when they ask you about it, you should be able to talk about it, not just put your name on a paper. That's one of the things that people see, that they did not really work on it and they put their name in there. So and with regard to the fields, any field, people look at like your interest and your how you worked on that. So not necessarily it has to be the same field, but if it is the same field, it's better. If you want to do cardiology, publish a paper in cardiology. That way, the cardiologist interviewing would know the subject and will be able to discuss.
Okay, all right. And so again to you, Dr. Kaza, could you help clarify to us the difference between a research assistant position and a formal research fellowship? Like, what is the difference between the two in the United States?
I think formal one is more of like a fellowship, which is a paid position. Research assistant also can be a paid position, but most of the time it could be voluntary also. You kind of find your mentor and work with them. Like, for example, my son is a medical student in the 3rd year. So he is in New York, but he is working with a cardiologist here in Nashville in a cardiology subject, like, reviewing the charts and doing the calculations, formulating.
So that is a research assistant position, what your son is doing.
Yeah, okay. Correct. So he's not a paid position, but he's working with his mentor. Okay. So that is one type of research where you are not physically there, and some programs offer direct research assistant positions at the universities and different programs So you can do that too. And fellowship is something where after your graduation, there are some openings, and you apply for it and go through the whole thing, and it's a fully paid position, fellowship.
Right. Dr. Adara, would you like to add to that? You've mentioned that your son too has some experience in a similar role.
Yeah, the research average in medical school, I think I saw publication 1 or 2 during medical school. So research start undergraduate here in USA. So that's why, so the difference between assistant fellowship, I think what Sunil explained, that's all.
Right.
So assistant fellowship is a little bit higher level, or sometimes PhD. That's what actually, it's not a fellowship yearly. Mainly they go after PhD. There's MD, PhD, that has much value.
Okay.
Most of them we call research assistant. So then you know your face. Then they know. I know one guy from when I was doing residency. He's from dermatology from Lebanon. He did in the Johns Hopkins research 3 years. Then they took him into dermatology residency. Same thing, something like that.
Okay. Any like pointers on where to find access to such research positions? Like where do we find them? How to apply to them? Anything on that on those lines? Dr. Adara?
I think for that they need to know a lot of basic, say for example, these basic research labs, you need to have a lot of experience. I don't know what in Indian faculty you'll have that kind of experience. Because I'm sure students can help us. Maybe AIMS may help. These bench research ones are very difficult to get. But there are some students. One student from Ranganaya Medical College published 145 publications. But they're all clinical case based, but not a bench research. Any others can add here. Here there are researchers everywhere available. Even one new medical school, they have 1 floor with 20 million, just the basic research. So that kind of infrastructure, it is there in India, but in the private sector. Like for example, biotechs and other things, they have it, but you may have to go and find out there.
Okay.
But other speakers can add. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Dr. Ingawali, do you have? Yeah, Dr. Gurusu, please go ahead. Yeah.
Sure, please. Yeah. So in addition to what Dr. Idra has mentioned,
yeah.
Like for example here, just I'm giving a parallel corollary so that how that equates to the actual ecosystem, that's totally up to you. But again, within the organization, right, when you are working even as a med student, you'll have whoever is doing, right? So I'm just telling the example. They give the research assistant job. So once you are eligible for that age where you can be paid, they give you those little bit of money, but you are working and things smart and all. So the other, once you come out of your undergrad and before applying for med school, again, this I'm talking about the journey from undergrad to here, there is something called the Indeed, right? That's the job posting website and all. If you kind of narrow it to your search and if you look into, then they'll give you those positions, research assistant 1, 2, 3. The tier signifies the level of responsibility, a little bit of more stipend and all those. But there are jobs that are posted here. So maybe there are jobs such that way that are posted there as well. So it's not only within the organization, but even between organizations, if they are looking for candidates, they do post the jobs there.
Okay. And any idea whether these positions are also available to IMGs, ma'am, especially on this website that you mentioned, Indeed?
Not going into the political thing, I do not know under Mr. Trump's administration how much of advice I can give, but but can they? I think so.
Okay, Dr. Ingawali?
Not a political thing, just a casual comment.
Yeah. We are with you. Don't worry. Dr. Ingawali, do you have anything to add?
I think there is no as such any central process to recruit any research positions. However, 2 things that work is as you clearly mentioned, one is the websites which kind of have the ad, and the other part comes as the networking. So when you reach out to the mentor, they not always all of the positions will be like displayed on a website or they mention about it, because our websites are not always updated to the very time it is being displayed. So once you reach out to a mentor, maybe the mentor can speak with the department and let you know that is there a position available for you or not.
Okay, all right, sir. Dr. Kashyap, I believe you have something to add.
I'm sorry, I'm just driving, so my camera is off, but once I'll turn it on later. I think one comment I will tell is that before COVID-19, it was easier to get unpaid research trainee or fellowship, in some cases paid programs. Since 2020, a lot of things have changed. I would agree with my esteemed panelists where I think networking is the only way you're going to get some of these things. You will be lucky if you apply to something which is there, because sometimes most positions are, when I was at Mayo Clinic or Word, they already had a candidate in mind. The person has maybe rotated with them and during your medical school time and things like that. So I know when I mentor students, I tell them, you're applying for in-person research fellowships, traineeship, assistantship, and things like that. Be ready to submit like 100 application. You may get here back from like 3 or 4 of them. So a lot of hard work, networking, and just keep applying. That's the only way. And sometimes you can just do things remotely, like you're doing a job or you're in a medical school and you can't leave medical school. Instead of spending 6 months, you can just do some remote research programs where it can help you out acquire the methodology and experience.
Okay. And sir, any idea if having prior research experience helps in bagging such positions, especially that of a research assistant? Maybe not a fellowship position, but what about a research assistant?
The most obvious answer is yes, any previous experience, and that is the way you're going to stand out. But point is, without getting a position, without doing research, how are you going to get a research experience? So it's kind of catch-22. But yes, if you have time and opportunity during your medical school to at least work on a case report or anything for that matter, acquire some skills, that will definitely help you in future.
Got it. Thank you so much, sir. That was really insightful. Dr. Kaza, do you have anything to add, sir?
Yes, your question was about any of those paid positions are available for IMGs.
Right.
So they are open to all, but the main problem is the visa. So if you come on a business visa or a student visa, paid jobs are difficult to get into. So if you have green card or citizenship, it makes it easier. So that's the main distinction.
Actually, Dr. Gaza, you've actually led us right on to our next question. That was what I was going to ask about next. So what is the kind of visa that is required for an IMG to apply to such positions? Can you just enlighten us about that?
What kind of visas are required?
Yeah. And whether students need to, furnish these visas on their own, or does the institution provide it for them once they bag the position? Like, how does it work? I'm sure there's some variability, but like overall, in general, how does it work?
So there are J1 visas that US issues, and J1 is there. Two different types of J1s are there. One is clinical residencies and stuff, and the other one is a research. So to get a J1 research, in the past at least, I think recently it might have changed the rules. In the past, they should have shown 2 years of experience in research in India or whichever country they come from. And what I read recently, yesterday, day before, was in one of the journals, they are saying that that requirement is not there, or something like that. I don't quote me on that, but something changed within last 1 week or 2 weeks. But usually it used to be 2 years of experience to apply for J1.
Okay. Dr. Rahul. Okay, all right. Dr. Rahul, the floor is yours. What do you want to say, sir?
Yes, I can probably answer this question. So I came on J1 research visa myself 20 years ago. One thing is, especially if you're a medical student, 99% chance are that you will not have a green card or citizenship in America.
So before you go ahead, for those of us who are unaware, can you just tell us what the green card visa is? Like, first of all, especially the green card scholar visa. Can you just enlighten us a little bit about that?
That's a whole lot of discussion, but I'll try to do my best.
Yeah, just something really brief. Yeah. Sir, we're actually losing you. Your voice is breaking quite a bit.
% of you guys. Sorry about that. I'd say 99. Can you hear me now?
Dr. Kashyap?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better, sir. Yeah.
So I was saying that 99% chances, or 99% of all students who are listening today, most likely you are not in that category. So goal is that either you come to America for B1, B2, if you are planning to come to America to do residencies, or just get an exposure and go back and practice in India. Either way is okay. In that regard, you will come on B1, B2. where you can do observership, and sometimes they allow you to do up to 6 months of research, which is completely unpaid. You cannot get paid on B1, B2 visa, which is a visitor or tourist visa. And nowadays, people don't even get the interviews for that. Then comes in J1 research visa that has included mention as well. That's the only way you can do it. In some cases, American institutions, especially universities, may give you a visa, but that is a long shot. J1 research visa is the most viable option for to do more than such traineeship or fellowship. In that too, also, if you are very practical, you can't get much out of it if you're doing 6 months research in America too. There are some rules for 212Es and all. If you spend more than 6 months on J1 research, then you can't go back for any other visa except J1. So then you're practically shutting down your H1 residency chances. We can go in detail and have a session just on that point. But short answer is, you can come and do research on B1, B2 or for less than 6 months. If institution allows for it, you will not get paid. Or you can do research more than 6 months on J1 research visa. It depends on if they pay you or not. You cannot be unpaid on H1 visa. So J1 allows you to be unpaid or self-paid, or institution should pay.
Okay, that was very informative, sir. Thank you so much. There's also something called the Einstein visa. Dr. Gurusu, would you know anything about it? Or ma'am, I believe you're on mute, ma'am.
No, I do not have much input about that.
Okay. Dr. Kashyap, do you know anything about it? Okay, what about
the
green
card process? The green card process and EB1, they are synonymous. The Einstein visa or EB1 is called evidence-based, so they are exactly the same thing.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much. Okay, moving on to our next question. How much research is considered competitive enough for different specialties? Any estimates on the number of projects one should be involved in, the number of, minimum number of publications you should have, or minimum months of experience that one should have in order to be, competitive enough in your application in the US? I'd like to direct this question at Dr. Kaza. Yeah, please, sir.
Yes, a minimum of 3 is what is they are looking at. When we talk to the program directors, we have had a recent MSR, Medical Students Residents Fellows Conference, a couple of months ago in New Jersey at Rutgers University. In that, we invited about 12 different program directors of different various programs: plastic surgery, general surgery, bariatric surgery, psychiatry, internal medicine. So we asked the same questions to them, actually, students and everybody else. And the things that they suggested was these things, like they look at least 3 publications, of course, high scores in their USMLE 1 and 2, and 1 now they are not scoring, it's just a pass-fail, and level of USMLE 2 is with scores. So most of the foreign graduates from India and different countries are getting like 250s, 260s almost, 257, 252, like that. So score is number 1, and at least 3 publications, so that this passes the hurdle of your application going from the secretary, which is clerical work, to the program director and to the committee. So if not, they are just screening them out. That is the problem.
Okay. So on that same note, does doing some meaningful research work compensate for a slightly lower USMLE 1 score? Like, does that happen, or is the weightage given more to your scores?
In those situations, what happens is, if you go to if you have done the research at a particular institution, and you have face-to-face exposure and people know you, and there is a higher chance of getting into residency at the same program, or that program director may make a phone call for you and get you in somewhere else. So that's how it helps. But unfortunately, for each position, there are like 400 people, 300 people applying, and they are not even having time to review all the applications. And some of these applications are going down. So when we ask the same question to program directors, if they don't know anybody, how to approach you, and some of them said, just email me directly and just talk about yourself, what you did not, and all that. And we read all the emails.
All right, so thank you. Dr. Rahul Kashyap, so what's your perspective on this?
If I'm hearing your question right, so I would say that this is after the fact. Idea is that I don't want any student, if I don't know what kind of crowd is here today, if they're looking to come to US or they're 50-50 looking to do a practice in India. But idea is it's after the fact means you don't want to compromise your score for research. Your scores are with you all the time. Research can wait. So my first point number one is don't compromise your score for the research or observership or anything else. Now, if you have for some reason your scores are lower and you need to go into competitive specialty, you can try to make it up by doing a little extra research in that area. So that'll be my answer for that matter. And then number of publications, I think I'll agree with my esteemed colleagues. I don't want to put any number as per se. If you're going into America, competitive specialties, orthopedics, dermatology, neurosurgery, radiology, anesthesia, definitely the number has to be higher. All my mentees, I tell them that you have to be in double digit. That means at least 10 publications in PubMed and several abstract presentation. But point is that you can't be first author in all of them. You definitely have to be in few of them. First author, that means you came up with an idea, you worked through, you did most of the work, and you are the first author for that matter. 2, 3, 4 is a good number if you're in competitive specialty, but at least do not submit your application without at least 1 or 2 first author publications.
Got it, sir. All right. Does research done outside of the US hold equal value, like to all the panelists in the US who are judging these applications that are coming in? Dr. Gurusu, would you like to take that question? Yeah.
For sure. So if you look at the ASH, which is American Society of Hematology, or ASCO, the American Society of Clinical Oncology annual meetings, you hear even sometimes in the plenary sessions, and of course the oral abstracts and the posters and the studies, that what a meaningful difference that were made with the so-called limited resources. I'm not saying that India is anything of any limited resources, but the point is the quality of that, the meaningful study, like for example, like acute promyelocytic leukemia, how with the arsenic, I'm just giving you an example, how that with the whatever that resources that they had, that how the lives were saved. So it is the point, going back to your question again, it is the quality, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you are trying to answer? And how is it going to help the patient community or the whatever, your hospital administration, whatever. So I think that lies the value rather than whether you did it in India or whichever country, is my honest opinion.
All right. Yes, Dr. Kashyap, please go ahead.
I would 100% agree. The short answer is research. Doesn't matter where you do it. As far as it is done with high quality, you know what you did, and you're a first author, it should hold the value.
All right, so we're with you. But how do conferences in India or elsewhere compare to conferences in the USA? Like, is it doable for us to present our research work over there after we've worked on it over here? Dr. Gurusu, you can take this again because you just answered the question.
Yeah, I think, of course you can.
All right.
The ASH poster presentations, the ASCO. I'll tell you something. So I work very closely with Leukemia Lymphoma Society. Yes. Every year on my own, our family, we organize a fundraising and others come and this symposium on precision oncology that I put together on April the 5th. So I'm the speakers from Yale, UConn, Trinity Health, Hartford Healthcare are coming and generously giving their time and all. So there I invited poster presentations from the residents, the students, and the fellows part. So it need not be the national presentation only, And in fact, I sent an invite to whoever was organizing it to pass it on. I haven't received any kind of, abstracts or anything part, but not, I would have done my part of adding something to your resume, but anyhow, so try to do it, need not be only at the national meetings. And yes, people definitely watch out for the quality of your study. So it doesn't matter, whether it's coming from India or Pakistan or any other foreign country. Again, the common concept is how are we helping the patients?
Right. Okay, sir. Dr. Sushruth, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, sure. So I think my esteemed panelists have already covered most of the points. The quality, your authorship, where it gets published matters. But what program directors, I think, are interested in seeing is how enthusiastic are you about doing it, just not for the sake of matching, but doing it as a habit in general. So whether these even the appearances as smallest conferences, like even a small institutional conference, shows that you are enthusiastic about research in general. So I think these local conferences as well matter. I would just wanted to come back a little bit because I just saw a couple of comments related to few previous questions.
Yes,
Just
sir,
one
please go ahead.
regarding, as Dr. Kaza correctly pointed about two types of J1 visas, and he had referred about one thing about a recent change in J1 visa. So, as Dr. Kashyap had mentioned that he came in with a J1 research visa, and then sometimes J1, having on J1 visa limits your chance of matching on H1B. So that is no longer the case. This is the change that has happened, that if you come on J1 research visa, now there's no waiver for J1 research visa, but the waiver holds true for J1 clinical visa. So as a J1 research visa, you can apply for a H1B residency position. That's the good news I just wanted to mention about. And there was one comment about someone mentioning about research position on B1, B2. Understand that it is kind of a travel business visa, so it's not exactly like a fellowship, but like a research assistance that you are gonna do without any expectation of a payment. And lastly, I just wanna mention that apart from the journal publications, going to these conferences is also very important, because that is where you are likely gonna make more in-person, in detail contacts. So that is something that I would definitely recommend for our students.
Right, so that was extremely helpful. Thank you so much. Dr. Edara, if I may ask you the next question. Most of the research positions available in the US seem to be paid. So how do those IMGs who are having limited funds, how do they work their way around it? Are there any sponsorships or grants that they should be aiming to apply to help them with this?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. Maybe other panelists can
Right.
take it.
Anybody else?
Shushruta.
Will anybody else be able to answer this?
Probably I can answer. I can try to answer that question.
Yes, Dr.
So one thing is that it's pretty complicated. Nowadays people have this. The pool is enough that you have to have enough skills to get paid positions. I used to run a massive program at Mayo Clinic where we would have like roughly 15 to 20 students. Mostly it's unpaid, like they support by themselves, and with their help, if we ever able to get some grants, then they will get paid after 1 year. Idea was that they should match within 1 year. That is their priority. But nowadays, with the situation, visa politics, and everything else, the paid positions are less and less. They sometimes wanted to commit for 2 years to the lab, basic science lab, and things like that as well. I usually advise against it. I tell people that if you have resources to support yourself for 1 full year, then by all means come to do research. Not before you have taken your USMLE step 1, step 2 exams. Take your exams so you're not distracted, you're not jeopardizing your scores. Come and do your research, publish papers, do networking, present, and then match. That is the best outcome. Most people will not have resources. Then you can do some research within your medical school, find mentors, do online courses and publications around it as well. That means you should be able to tell people what you did in that project. You should be able to tell that how you came up with an idea. And then I think Dr. Shushruta and Dr. Godsu was mentioning, when you're going to these conferences, you are earning the right to go to the conferences to present your work. Then you are doing networking. You are standing next to your poster. You're telling how excited about your radiology or anesthesia or dermatology or internal medicine or family medicine for that matter. And then people will want to help. They say, oh yeah, why don't you apply to our program? Or you rotate through some of the residents are there. So you are creating those networking opportunities by doing research early in your career, wherever you are. You either you can afford to come on B1, come on J1, stay in the home country, or practicing it as well. Just do something, work with a mentor, present in a national meeting in India, or in America for that matter, create those opportunities for you.
Okay, amazing answer. So like that really puts things into perspective for us. But what would you have to say about taking a year off just to do research? Do you think that would be worth it to boost your CV, or yeah? Please go ahead.
I would advise against it. Those who are familiar with the American system, let's say I'll give an example from Mayo. You would do your medical school, you can take a year off to do MPH at Hopkins. Sometimes you have MD PhD programs. So there are precedents for that people do that as well. India, it's not, you are not supposed to take your year off during the medical school, if that's a question. After medical school, it depends on you. Goal is that you are taking your exams. If you're done with your exams, then you want to really spend time in a competitive specialty, you got a chance to work in an institution and a university program, by all means take that year, not year off, you're doing after your internship and applying, making your application a little bit more stronger. I would suggest to not to take time off during medical school. I don't know if you even do that in India, but you can always do during your internship in your fourth year, third year, some research and go and apply. If you need to take time off after internship before joining your residency, that's up to you, because now you want to make up for the time you did not do research during medical school.
Okay, so but that doesn't act as a setback for you in your application, the fact that you were not in touch with your clinicals?
No, I think as far as you can tell what you did in that time, you have something to show in your CV that you published, you acquired these skills, these are the presentation you did, nobody cares. Of course, you want to have 3 or 5 years of gap in your CV. 1 year, no eyebrows raised.
Got it, sir. Dr. Gurusu, would you like to? Oh, Dr. Ingwale, yeah, please go ahead, sir.
If I may add. So, having done my med school in India, and you know how the wheel goes on and on. When my 22-year-old now daughter wanted to take a gap year, that was the most horrible thing I ever heard, kind of a thing. But once I settled down to that, understanding the concept of it, why she I'm just making an example, and what are her plans. There is a structure, how she is choosing her mentors, what kind of projects that she has lined up and doing things. It's not a bad idea. So again, this is a person who has done her undergrad before applying for med school. If she's working at Dana-Farber, working with the mentors and all, that's one thing. So I'll tell you an example, like when I talked to my, during this process, when my daughter was saying that she was going to take a gap year, I had a meltdown. I reached out to my colleagues and all and saying that, oh my God, my daughter is doing the horrible thing. And this is a top tier student. In spite of that, so these top surgeons, so-called, right, how they have a thing, it was, and these were through the American school system, agreed, but again, take it with the right grain of salt. They took a break in their med school for a year or two at research at NIH. So taking a gap probably is not that we all are used to, brought up in India and all, but what you do with that 1 year, what kind of mentors you're working with. So if you're doing 1 year, I'm doing case reports, probably that will not fly. But if you have that kind of a mentor, that you can show that this 1 year I have spent, because think about it, the medical student is taking the risk of what you are all asking about, is there a negative side? In spite of that, if somebody is making that effort with that kind of a mentor, I think hands down people can say that. But again, it all depends on what you are doing with that. That's the key.
Yeah, that was great, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Sushrit, do you have anything to add, sir? You'd raised your hand a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on, like, whether to go for a research position, maybe for a year, or maybe, yeah, especially those who are applying for surgery, end of taking like 2 years of research, is a very difficult question to answer as yes or no. There are, again, pluses and minuses, but from the consensus of the students that I have talked to, or juniors or seniors, what I have understood is it has two implications. One could be in immediate match, and second could be also it helps in long-term fellowship. So, for example, if you are someone who has done research here after your undergraduation in Mayo, and you did not end up matching in Mayo, for residency, which is very difficult, I think they do consider your application for when it comes to a fellowship match. So asking that question is deciding on the research fellowship is based on multiple factors. What I would suggest is, what are your long-term goals? Are you aiming for a fellowship? Are you just planning to be a general hospitalist or primary care, and planning to go into community service? Both are good, both have their own pluses, minuses, but the research fellowship is going to help more if you're aiming for a fellowship and going into more of academic positions. This is for the long-term fellowship, but at the same time, you need to judge your application, how strong your CV is, and based on that, whether it is also needed for your residency match. That is a question that you can answer based on the strength of your application. Are you sufficient enough with your current CV and current scores? Then maybe you don't need it. You can directly go for a residency. But if not, then I think I would recommend taking it. And with the change of the J1 visa status, you can later switch to H1B. I think it's a plus point in favor of the applicants.
Okay, yes, a fantastic answer, sir. Yes, Dr. Kashyap, what do you have to say about this? You're on mute, sir. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Thank you. You guys muted me, so that's why. Let's say there's a scenario. If the people who are listening today, 60, 70, some people, if you are planning to apply for USMLE and then come and practice in America, there are 3 buckets I'll put you in. Bucket number 1, you have done your exams during your medical school or during internship. Now you're applying, and then rotation, you've done some rotations, some of research, 50% of you're going to match in your first attempt. For that matter. So there's no point of gap here in this regard. Now, when we're talking about the second type, that you have really good scores, but you're shooting for competitive specialty, and then you know that you need to have research. That time, a year or 2 after your internship to do research in America, it's a very good move. That's definitely help you for that matter. Third is that your scores are not that well, or you tried once, you did not go match and all. Now to enhance your CV, in addition to step 3 exam, you need to have research done either in America or remotely. You need to definitely improve your CV with multiple publication, networking, going to conferences, and so on and so forth. So idea is that which bucket you fall in, it depends on that. You definitely have to, as Dr. Godsu mentioned, you have to have a plan. You can't just sit and write one case report and say, I did a gap year and I was practicing in a private clinic or open my own clinic in India, and now I'm ready to reapply. No, you need to have a plan when you're saying, I did this 1 year, what you did in that 1 year. You did Excel rotations, you did some research. There are some programs. You can join Harvard. It's a lot of expensive, they cost a lot of money. You can do a global GCSRT program in Harvard for 1 year. It's a hybrid program. You can do some programs in Yale and Stanford. They have some 1 year program as well. Or you can do an MPH. They cost a lot of money. And most of us, I come from a middle class family, most of us do not have that kind of resources. So you have to be creative and saying how you can show in your CV. When I sit in the interview committee, I look at the application. When I see this person had done 0 research, their scores are really, really good, and things like that, you give them a little bit of slack. 2 is the person has 10 papers listed, but none of them are first author. They have no idea when you ask them during interviews, and they can't even tell about their own research. So the quality always matters over the quantity. You have to have a clarity what specialty you're applying. You have to have a clarity that when you're taking time off after your internship, where you want to go, what you want to do in that part as well. It's all about planning ahead and then following through your plan.
Yes, sir. Here with you. Thank you. Dr. Garusu, a question for you. What are the key skills IMG should have to succeed in a US-based research role, whether it's in a hospital or a lab or whatever, in terms of softwares or specific data analytical skills, anything? Like, are there any specific things which are like pre-requirements when you're starting your research journey?
Sure. I think communication skills, your personality is one thing. I'll jump into the data analytics part and all. Yeah. Your ability to communicate with your staff within and your other labs and all is a key. And regarding the data analytics part and all, I think the basic skills of like Excel and all, but I'll tell you not to trying to endorse artificial intelligence because I'm not an expert in that. But if you think about it, during my MBA thing, it was a learning curve for me, trying to learn the Excel, the financial formulas and all. Now, if I put that what I want in Chat GPT, it is going to churn me and give me that thing. What I'm trying to say is technology is changing quite a bit with what kind of ease you can use that and all. So I don't think that should be a deterrent of not being able to. And again, please do not take it in that kind of the purest sense, because these are extremely sensitive patient data and all those. And by no means I'm trying to endorse some things. The point why I mentioned about the artificial intelligence part is that it is now the machine is able to spin and do the work for you as long as you know what to ask. So I don't think you'll need anything like a extraordinary more than what is required, but the basic Excel part and a little bit of the how to kind of put data together, how to do the data search and all those things are probably the basic things. Again, we are not talking about at a very advanced position. We are talking about what medical students, if they go into a mentor's lab, what will that mentor be asking? So I think those are the basic skills. Yeah.
Dr. Ingwala, would you like to add something? Do you have anything to say?
I think Dr. Goroso covered most of it.
Okay.
I don't think there's much to add, but I just want to mention one thing. That I would suggest students to attend conferences, which are like even ASCO maybe or ACC, whichever specialty they are interested in. Students usually have like a free membership that you can take the benefit of. Even ASCO for itself has like a ASCO medical student and resident forum wherein they can even help you sponsor some waive off your abstract submission fee, or even if you have a really good presentation, they can even sponsor your trips. So this is something that I'm telling from my own experience, because I was one of the national ACP award winners, and they had given me a travel grant to come to US to present my research by the ACP India chapter. So I just want to make people or our students know that there are resources available. It's just that not all of them are aware about this. And in addition to that, I just also want to mention that as a editor-in-chief of Global Journal of Medical Students, we are also happy to help any students who have their institutional works. We are happy to help all the residents, medical students, and early career physicians to support in their research work. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that was very motivating, sir. Dr. Kashyap, can we hear what you have to say about this? Have we muted you by any chance? Dr. Mukherjee, Dr. Abhishek, who's in charge of the controls?
That is a sign that if somebody is speaking too much, then we can unmute. I'm just kidding. I understand.
No, sir, not at
so
all.
your question was that what skills they should have it. I'm going to tell you this. These are 3 categories they should have it. They should be, as Dr. Gurusu's mentioned, they should be really good at Microsoft Word and Excel, PowerPoint. These 3 things they should definitely have as a part of it. They should be able to use Google Doc, because instead of sending back and forth emails, they can put their proposal, idea, project in the Google Doc, and people, their mentors can look at it. Number 2 is time management. If they're committing to time, they should be able to respond back. They should be able to get the proposal written on time, data collection done on time, their search criteria, whatever they're doing for those things has to be done as well. And 3 is the collaboration and team spirit. If you can't manage your time, work in a team, you are not a good fit in America anyways. I can tell you that for that matter. Now, one thing is, many times people expect that within their seniors in India or America, that anybody owes them something. Nobody owes anybody. Idea is that if somebody is willing to spend your time to mentor you, as Dr. Shruti said, like people come and they don't follow up, that is very disrespectful. If somebody is willing to give their time, please make sure that you are doing a follow-up. Nobody's owing, not your seniors owe you anything. You need to make sure you are valuable for them. You need to make sure that you follow up, you make sure your time punctual in time management, and then you have basic skills. If a mentor has to teach you how to use MS Word, Microsoft Word, or a PowerPoint, you are losing the battle already.
Yes, sir. That was on point. We are with you. Okay, I guess moving on to the next question. How should an IMG reflect their research experience in their ERAS application or interviews? What should we be emphasizing in our applications relative to everything else in our application, especially when we have unpublished research works in our bag? So Dr. Kashyap, would you like to take this?
Yes, you allowed me to unmute. I like it. Absolutely.
Yes.
So ERAS application, if you're applying for residency and fellowship here, you can put them into 4 categories. Number 1 is submitted. Number 2 is presented. Number 3 is accepted or published. Those are the great way for you to showcase that, you're not talking things in air. You have either submitted to a journal, you have presented this work, and then either it's already accepted or it's published. And let me tell you one thing in that part is, if you're doing a project, a proper project with your own idea as a first author, when you get to the finish line, when the data is collected, data is analyzed, or you've written a review article or case report for that matter, you ought to submit that as an abstract to a national meeting in India or in America. Okay, so you did the project, you acquired it, you write in your CV, you submit it to an abstract to a conference. Abstract get accepted, and when you present it, then it move into a presented category. 2 is when it get presented. Most of these national conferences like ASH and SCCM and ATS and AAPI and or ADA, whatever it is, usually their home journals publish them into supplemental category. They give you a link, you can add that to your CV as well. And you have done the project, you submitted, you presented, it is an abstract now in your CV, as well as a link for that published abstract in the in journal supplemental. Then you publish the whole paper into a major journal. Dr. Shushad mentioned you submit to a medical journal. He's a editor-in-chief. You can submit to IJMS. You can submit to any journal which allows you to, which is on PubMed, tier 1, tier 2 category, and that's not a shady journal, and then very low or minimal fee. As a medical students, you all are poor. We all were poor when we were medical students, so you can't pay thousands of dollars. So basically, one project, one research project has given you 4 opportunities to go and write in your CV, present, have a published abstract and a published paper in a journal. That process can take you 2 years, but at least you know that this one thing can get you 4 lines in your CV.
Amazing. So yeah, that's crystal clear. Dr. Sushruth, would you like to add something to that?
Yes, thank you so much. Just following up on the previous question as well, just with regards to the research skills that can be added on, I just wanted to mention that apart from the knowing those Microsoft tools, I would also suggest having nice knowledge on Zotero, which is like a citation manager, and some tools in PubMed search, how to do a mesh search or language editing tools is also something that I would suggest that you have a little bit of knowledge on, because although you're doing a research and coming up with results is one part, having the knowledge to do the correct statistics is the second part. And even if you do all of this, writing it in a way that it can be accepted by the journal is the third part. Because as a journal editor, this is somewhere I struggle with. I see students have done the research, they have good results, but the writing is kind of something that needs a lot of technical modifications before it can even be progressed to peer review. And coming to the part about the presentation of research experience in your and publications in your ERA CV, as Dr. Kashyap correctly mentioned, the categories of the publications is what he said is perfectly true. Additionally, I would like to just mention that there are experiences. It comes as volunteer experiences, work experiences, and research experiences. So when you are enlisting those research experiences, just make sure that you are not cluttering it in paragraphs, rather trying to organize it in such a way like as a bullet format, and try to mention what are the skills that you acquired in that particular research project. So, okay, this was the contribution I helped in doing a Prisma search or systematic search I helped in managing citations, or I helped in acquired the skills related to SPSS analysis. So having that detailed description when you write it in the ERA CV helps the reader know what are the research skills that you possess.
Absolutely, sir. Makes a lot of sense. We're with you. I guess we'll move on to the next question. Is Dr. Kaza still with us?
I think he
muted me and
mentioned
he
on
got
a
upset.
message that he had to leave.
Okay, all right. Thank you so
Muted him
much.
and he got upset. I'm just kidding.
Okay, we'll give this one to Dr. Madhuri then. Ma'am, how should an IMG balance research with USMLE preparation?
Scores are scores, you know, you can't lessen the value of those because it might be that alone, a score alone will not give you a position. There's no question about it. But like my other esteemed panelist has previously mentioned, out of these thousands of application, there should be some way to filter those, right? Where those scores might be one tool that they say that, okay, we are not going to take anything less than that, you know, and so that will be, so the score, again, emphasize that will not bring you the position, but it will let you put your foot into the door of being considered part. So that part, and then I think it is, so that probably should answer the question of emphasizing the scores part, the value of that. And yeah, research comes, there is no question about it, but do not neglect your scores and your academic performance through your college and all those, because they might want to know more about your how you performed in your undergrad too. So it is never underestimate the importance of performing your best.
Right. Okay. Dr. Ingwali, would you like to add anything to that? Especially in terms of like, you know, study strategies, scheduling, planning, just to aid our balancing both research and exam preparation.
Okay. So one fact that I will definitely take away from my own experience is that always remember, working hard does not necessarily mean that you are being efficient. And at the same time, even if you're working like all the time, doesn't mean you are really productive. So at the end, what is important as a medical student is to be efficient and productive. So if you're just leaning towards doing a lot of hard work, this is something that is gonna burn out, and you will be having this feeling of burnout that will lead to more less efficiency. So having that balance is very important when it comes to even pursuing research. First of all, as we stated in the beginning, clinical knowledge gaining is the primary goal when you come to medical school. So that is something that you should never try to like keep it low when you're trying to focus on research. So attending your maybe lectures, doing whatever is needed, that's the primary goal. Additionally, getting involved in research and networking comes secondary. So having like a stipulated time in your schedule, okay, having 4 hours every day of the weekend. So 4 hours on Saturday or 4 hours on Sunday, I'm gonna dedicate for research related tasks, or maybe another 2 hours on in the weekend, in the week. That is something that you can plan. So, but doing those 4 hours very effectively is what is important, rather than sitting all 2 days of the week and not be able to come up with a productive uh, output. Additionally, I would definitely suggest that try to dedicate more time to also have a little bit of balance in developing skills that go beyond academics, maybe in communications, maybe in having a little bit of knowledge uh, of the outside world. Because that is a thing that I do see a difference when I look at the Indian students. versus what I see in the American graduates. I see that American medical graduates, they develop more holistically compared to Indian students. So that is when you're interviewing at a program, they want to see you not just as a person who is on the ERA CV application, but they also want to see you as a person with whom you can work with every day and night for the next 3 years. And having that positivity vibe in you when they see you as a student or an applicant is something that is important. That's why I'm recommending having this nice balance between doing what is needed, doing what is may be nice to do, and doing something that you really like to do beyond academics. Is having that balance is very important.
Right. Amazing advice, sir. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Dr. Kashyap, yes, sir. What would you like to say?
I'll not answer to this question, but something came up in mind when Dr. Shushruta was mentioning it. So if those who are applying for USMLE and then apply for residencies, and when you write your personal statement, just reading them and mentoring them on those, I can tell you, for God's sake, don't write that when I was 3 years old, I knew I want to become a doctor. Nobody knows they want to become a doctor when they're 3 years old. Or when they were 6-month-old or 5-year-old, they saw their grandmother getting cancer and things like that. Those are very, very phony. So please avoid that. Be genuine, as Dr. Shushruta was mentioning it, that you want to present the whole package. If you are planning to do residency in India, probably you can sit in front of your computer or a library and not talk to anybody, get the highest score and get the radiology. That will work absolutely in India, and you should do that. But if you're coming to do residency in America, that will not hold. You have to do research observership. Sometimes you do have some I would say that volunteering as well. You started an organization, and all those things carry a lot of weight, not only residency, but in your fellowship application as a consultant, and later on when you apply for green card and then citizenship as well. So a little bit of digressing, but I want to make sure, for God's sake, do not write that you want to know, you knew you want to become a doctor when you were 3 years old.
Definitely, so valuable advice. We will keep that in mind. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead. Yes,
so I would like to totally piggyback on what Dr. Kashyap and Dr. Ingwale has stated, because I was waiting. Will anybody ask close to what we started at 10:30? Now we are close to 1.5 hours. Nobody asked about the volunteering things, what kind of, because it's not what for preparing for the American residency or anything. But looking back, what I felt was that that's a beautiful way of growing up as a human being. Unless you are giving back to the community, that is a little bit, in my opinion, I feel it is not as meaningful, and things. And I know that you can easily, not trying to say that way, meaning that, and be genuine, not to try to say that, okay, my uncle owns this organization, I'll get a letter from them, that kind of thing. No, it's not for anybody, right? It's for you. Once you have that kind of wholehearted commitment, the true flavor comes out of that part. So being part of the voluntary organizations and genuinely spend time and do something for the betterment of the community. And it's, to be honest, it's not giving to them. You are getting from them. So it's the other way, rather than what we think what we are doing. In fact, the community is giving back to us. So kindly make that as a very important thing. Yeah. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you 100%. I don't think anything could be as gratifying as doing something with purpose, the way you said. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Setbacks in research are very common. Delays in publishing, failed studies, dropped projects. So how should you deal with this as an IMG? Who would like to take this answer? You can raise your hand and leave the floor open to whichever of you wants to answer. Please go ahead, Dr. Kashyap.
Yeah, setbacks are not just in research, anywhere else for that matter. Those are not, if you get a setback and then you never do anything after that, then you don't even deserve to become a doctor for that matter. But let me take you in research expectation. Many times I get an application saying, hey, I have 2 months. Can I do research with you in 2 months? Probably not. There's not much you can get out of it in 2 months. Unless you already know stuff, you already have your question ready, you have done publication before. Yes, we can try to attempt to do something for that matter. Setback comes in, you did a project, you never took it to a finish line. Your mentor stopped responding. Your team members who were supposed to do the data collection for you or consensus, they did not do it. You submitted, did not accept into a conference. You submit a paper, got rejected. I can tell you, I have more than a couple hundred publications on PubMed. Not a single paper got published in the first go. Not a single paper. There's one paper in chest in 2014 got published in the same journal with 7 revisions. So there'll be setbacks, like life has setbacks. Those setbacks are for a reason. My mentor, my professor at Mayo used to say that they're walls for a reason. Once you hit a wall, the non-serious people will drop off. That means that killing your competition. You either find a way to jump over the wall, open a door, or break it through for that matter. Setbacks are for you to make yourself strong. Look at your purpose, look at your strategy, talk to your mentors, talk to your colleagues, find out what is wrong. I can tell you when the paper comes back with revisions, the first revisions are so bad, you want to look at like, oh my gosh, they are just calling my very beautiful baby as an ugly baby. No, you read it next day. Sit down, you agree with the reviewers, and then you fix your paper, or sometimes you stand your ground as well. Setbacks will be there in your USMLE journey. It'll be there in your medical school journey. It will also be there in your research journey. But with your perseverance, your hard work, and the mentoring and networking, you can overcome all of them.
And so just another sub-question, Dr. Kashyap, to you itself. How do you portray such projects in good light in our applications? Like, an incomplete project, an unpublished research work. Like, you have put some work into it, but it's not made it, to the end. Can you still use that in your application to boost your CV?
Yeah, I would. I could be alone. I like no work to go waste. But one suggestion I will give it is that this is your motivation. That you can write about your skills, what you acquired and experience from it as well. I would not put an unfinished project in the CV, because there is one way for us when we're looking at the CV as well. We see that PubMed ID. We know at least get to a finish line and submit it. It get rejected later on. That's a different issue. But you were hardworking enough to make sure that you got the project to a quality that you can at least submit to a journal. That is very good in my mind. As well, it can get rejected. You can keep doing that in every few months, but at least take it to a finish line as well. Don't try to milk an unfinished project. Other than the experience and skills you acquired, I don't think so the project should be listed in your CV.
Okay. On that same note, how important are citations in your CV?
At your stage, I would not worry about citation at all. I do training people who are applying for green card and all. Citation has to play a role as well. But there's a little bit of misconception that, I need to submit into any JM or JAMA, and that's a good research. No, your first project will not make it to any JM. Your first project will not get you to Nobel Prize. You start with whatever it is. Go to any journal which is PubMed cited, not a shady journal, and then it doesn't charge you any money. Is a good journal for that matter. Don't run after citations or name of the journal in early part of the career or even later on. Good research will be found by people and they will cite it. This is not your concern, at least for next 5 years.
Right. Okay, not too long left now. We've just got a couple more questions. Dr. Madhavi, this one's for you. What are the biggest red flags or mistakes that program directors often notice in research sections of an application? And what are some best practices that can help avoid these? Like the most common errors you see in applications related to research?
I believe it's again the quality, how the study was done would be the way, because true, it would be good to have a good result and all that, but nothing beats it. There's no question about it. But people can easily pick up, like Dr. Kashyap will easily pick up not a well-done study, just for the part of making it a study, right? So I think it should be coming from good research practices, ethical practices, following those, whatever that, not revealing the patient. I mean, what kind of measures, I'm just making it as an example, what kind of measures were taken to kind of not reveal the patient identity? How were the HIPAA, those kind of things followed through? And what kind of ethical practices And again, the quality of the thing. And again, is there enough power to the study? So I think those would be those, a good quality study will be easily picked up, as well as not a good quality study. So I think going with the right mentors and getting into the right project as much as possible, I think would be my suggestion.
Okay. Dr. Ingwale, what would you have to say about this when it comes to errors? I think you already mentioned one regarding cluttering your, projects into a page. Yeah. Anything else? Any other pointers for us? Yeah.
To be honest, currently I don't think I am in a position to like say it from the perspective of a faculty, because I'm still a second year resident and I'm gonna do like apply for a fellowship and stuff. But I just can comment from the applications perspective what the research that I have done and spoken with other people how a ERAS CV should look like. Uh, but I think I am not the best person to ask from the program director's perspective how it should look. But again, just to mention, showcase your skills, showcase the things that you learned from the project, and try to put it in the format of bullet points and short, sweet sentences with different verbs rather than learned. No, just say use different understood or like agreed or something like different verbs that you can use it in the ERA CV. So that makes a little bit more nicer to read.
Right. We should, be cautioned against being very repetitive in our CV is what you're saying. What about Dr. Kashyap? Do you have anything to add to this, sir?
I just put a video. I do it regularly. I teach
right.
mentees for ERAS application. There's some interviews from the successful candidates as well. So please check it out.
Will do so.
I put one thing, I think what Dr. Shushrat and Dr. Gursu has mentioned, and I would emphasize it, that do not put anything in your CV which you cannot defend it. You don't need to overinflate it. Do those things and put them in there and be genuine about it. The more genuine you are, the more honest you are about it, the better it is for you.
Noted, sir. Okay. What are some common mistakes for us to avoid as an IMG, like particularly as an IMG as opposed to any other applicant, especially when it comes to publishing? Dr. Kashyap, would you like to answer this?
I think the three major mistake IMGs can do, in my opinion, is the number one is not starting sooner. It doesn't matter where you are. You can start tomorrow. Of course, you don't want to jeopardize your MBBS exams as well as USMLE scores. So that is a biggest mistake. You know what they say, what is the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago, and second best time is today. Same thing. Best time was last year to do research, if not to do today. Two is, it's a sin. It's a sin if you're not doing networking during medical school, if you don't have a social media platform, especially LinkedIn, if you're not doing work, volunteer work, quality work, research work, and presenting in national, international meetings. That's my second point as well. And three is, I think we don't have enough emphasis on volunteering and then seeking out help from our our seniors, mentors, and things like that. Understanding that nobody owes us anything, that anybody who's helping us is doing a favor, and we should do the same favor to our next batch when we are in that position. So those are three things I will leave you today.
Amazing points, particularly the last one, I think is worth noting. And on to our very last question for the day. This one's actually for Dr. Idara. Dr. Idara, are you with us?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, so we would like to ask you about what role AAPI can play in helping us catapult our journeys into research as young medical students. If you have anything else in store for us, any more initiatives. If not, we would like to request you to keep coming up with such initiatives so that we are helped in our research journeys by your organization.
Well, because of the AAPI, you can hear me?
Yes,
AAPI and that platform, we were able to meet Subham, and then we were able to found the GAIMS. And they come to us saying, so we connected our young students and there was a meeting. And since then, we started the research, everything going on. We're sponsoring from the back end as much as we can. And it's a non-profit organization. We hopefully get FCRA in a year or so. That will help. You can directly ask Americans, any doctors, directly donate to your association, so that can fund. And you're doing amazing energy. The main thing is what we do is only 10%, 90% coming from your young energy, and we're spreading that one, doing HPV awareness in I saw thousands of children. So you have amazing energy. So we need to keep on build on that. They come up with the general idea. So we did the best, and they are doing good. So hopefully it will be indexed and at least embrace us somewhere in a year. So we keep on going in a company. We give that Dr. Rahul explained the networking opportunity. And I'll give an example before I close. There's one lady, somebody connected me. She's from one of the AIMS. So she's doing a junior doctor, MBBS. She have connection on another web meeting to one of the Master General people, and then they gave her some work, and she did immediately. As soon as they asked, they worked within a day. Now she got 12 interviews. She already matched some of the Lehi clinic or something. So this kind of communication connections one at a time, and you have to deliver it. Once you know that you connected, they will ask you. You have to deliver it. Then you will be. You have direct access with this internet. Thank you. I really keep going. We'll be there behind, and we'll do the best we can.
Thank you so much, sir. I think AAPI really forms the backbone of all of these great initiatives and GAIMS. So we are very grateful to you, and we look forward to collaborating with you constantly in the future. So I think that brings us to the end of our panel discussion. I think it's been fantastically helpful to every one of us. We thank each of you esteemed panelists, Dr. Madhuri, Dr. Shushruth, Dr. Rahul, Dr. Lokesh, and also Dr. Kaza, who was here with us earlier. We thank you for your time, for your expertise, for your insights, for all the help you guys have provided us. It's doubtless that it's going to help several IMGs in their journeys in research. And also, of course, thanks a lot to the audience who's here, who joined us today, for making this discussion a success. I hope you guys have found this insightful and helpful. I think that's about it. We will be making a note of all the resources on chat and sharing it with the audience later. I think we are done then. So once more, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well done, Fatima. Very well run panel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Dara. It's been our pleasure having you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the esteemed panelists as well as all the event organizers. Thank you, audience, and feel free to reach out if you need it. Thank you. Signing off.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sushruth. Thank you, Dr. Dara. Meanwhile, in the audience, I guess you guys can make note of all of the resources that's been left on the chat before you sign off. Again, once more, thank you for joining us today.